So, like most first-time buyers, you decided you want to buy a house. And like most first-time home buyers, you don't really know where to start. So today we're actually going to go through and show you how to correctly use the monthly payment calculator on Zillow so that you can actually have a real idea of what a monthly payment would look like on a house you can actually afford. We're even going to go through some of the basics of if you were using down payment assistance, what that would look like on those specific house cases, and kind of for you to understand what that looks like in the long run. So let's buckle up and jump in. Here, I'm just gonna find a random house that's for sale. So this looks great. This is over in Folsom, near Sacramento. Cute little house, listed at 574, a little 3-2. It's a great little spot. Now, what a lot of first-time homebuyers do is they scroll down here and they say, okay, look at all the Zillow facts, you look at the HOA, you look at everything else, and you say, how much am I paying monthly for this home? $3,861. You're like, maybe that seems realistic for you. Maybe this seems too high. But what I want to show you is when you're calculating your monthly payment on Zillow, you got to edit some things, first of all. So number one, most people nowadays aren't putting 70% down, at least not for a first home. Obviously, sometimes people are able to do that. They get a good gift. They have, down payment they've been saving, but oftentimes you're not going to see that. So we're going to base this one off an FHA loan, just because a lot of home buyers recently have been using FHA. The rates have been a little bit lower and the mortgage insurance is cheaper unless you have a really good credit score. Minimum down payment for an FHA loan is going to be 3.5%. So around $20,122. Now, with that being said, I'm going to run this as if we're using a down payment assistance program so you can kind of see what the numbers might look like. Now, again, nothing I'm saying today is actual quote. This is all going to be specific to situation. It's going to be dependent on credit score and some other factors that are involved. But we're just going to go over the basics so you have a somewhat close, realistic idea of how to use the Zillow calculator. Now, right now, you can see the interest rate around 7.158. Again, I'm planning on using the down payment assistance program that's out right now. This is in California. So looking at Cal-HFA's rates, I believe right now an FHA rate for Cal-HFA, which are all available on their website, doesn't matter who uses a lender, it's going to be available on there, is around 6.625. That's where it was yesterday when I looked. Again, nothing's guaranteeing anything. If you decide you wanted to try to buy this house right now, no promises on what that rate would be, but that should be pretty close. Now, the other thing to look at, you got property taxes, you got mortgage insurance. So tax rate, 1.15%. This is pretty accurate. Most lenders, when they're doing stuff, are going to put you in at 1.25. This just gives them a little bit of safety. You have to open an escrow account. You got to put some of this money in the side, that account, to pay your taxes and insurance every year. And then you're looking at your homeowner's insurance as well. 24.15. I feel like that's a little high. You guys can't see the calculator up on my screen, but usually I estimate homeowner's insurance as about 1/4%. A quarter to 1/3 of a percent. So we'll do 1/3 just to give us a little bit of extra room today. But based off the home price, so I got the calculator out. We're doing $574,900 multiply by 0.003. So we're going to do about 30, about 1/3 of a percent, a little less than that. That's $1,724 a year. Now we're going to divide that by 12 to get our monthly. It's going to be about $143 a month. So I'm going to put in here the yearly, which is going to be $1,725, right around 1725. All right, that's going to bring your homeowner's insurance down a little bit. Now, again, a lot of times it's actually cheaper than this. Most time I see it around 1/4% or even less, depending on what you're adding into your homeowner's insurance. Now, other thing to think about, this isn't including fire insurance. If you're in certain areas in California, you will need fire insurance. If you're up in Auburn or anywhere there's been wildfires in the last couple of years, something to keep in mind. Now, this home doesn't have an HOA, so we're not including it. Your utilities are not included in your monthly payment. So make sure you keep that in mind as well as you're pricing this out, to make sure you're going to be paying more monthly for internet, water, sewer, gas, trash, electric, whatever you have. So keeping that in mind here too. So we'll take the HOAs off. That should be pretty close. This is going to be pretty close now. Monthly payment. The only thing that's not really going to be close on this one is going to be your mortgage insurance. Now, I'm basing this off FHA. Now, FHA mortgage insurance is actually going to be a little bit cheaper most of the time than conventional. So I'm going to come over here and calculate it myself. Currently, FHA mortgage insurance is going to be a little over 0.5% of the loan amount. So loan amount, to get to that, to kind of calculate it out yourself, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do $574,900. I'm going to subtract that $20,122. So the first loan amount is going to be $554,778. That's just this number minus this number. Now, take that, multiply it by 0.0055. So that's about 0.5%, a little over 0.5%. gives us about $3,050 a year in mortgage insurance. We're going to take that divided by 12. Mortgage insurance on this home would be around 250. So it's definitely shooting high. It's quoting more for a conventional loan than FHA. So, take this number. I'm going to not include this. I'm going to add in the fact after. So now this is a little bit more realistic to what I would actually see if I were doing the calculation for you myself if you sat with the loan officer. So around $42.95 plus, don't forget that $260, $255 in mortgage insurance. So at the end of this, if you're looking at using this calculator correctly, you're actually coming out to about $45.50. So $4,550 monthly would be the cost on a home like this, or at least it would be close to the monthly cost on a home like this if those numbers were all correct. If we had minimum down payment, mortgage insurance calculated out with FHA, property tax where I would calculate it as a lender, same with homeowners insurance, right around where I'd calculate it as a lender. So gives you a little bit more realistic idea than when you originally logged in and saw they estimate your monthly cost around $3,800. That was with 20% down. That was with no mortgage insurance. That was with the lower tax rate and a much higher insurance rate than probably what you would really get. So that's kind of how to correctly calculate out. Now, if for some reason I was looking at buying my first house and I absolutely did not want to talk to a lender and have them run those numbers for me and show me what I could do with my personal income, my debt to income ratio, and the monthly payment, that's how I would use Zillow to calculate out my monthly payment. But make sure those numbers, you're keeping up with those. Every time you look at a new listing, those are most likely going to reset. So make sure if you were to do this that you're keeping an eye on what that's going to be so you have a little bit more realistic of an idea on how to actually calculate out your monthly payment from Zillow. So if you don't yet, follow me on Instagram. I do a bunch of tips like this. My next video is going to be talking about how to calculate your own debt to income ratio. Again, so you're not forced to talk to a lender if you don't want to, if you don't feel like you're ready, but you can come in a little bit more set and understanding how the lender themselves is actually going to calculate it for you. So check it out. That's linked right above, but I'd love to see you there. And please go give my Instagram and my TikTok a follow. I would love to give you more information like this on a daily basis. So check it out.